For some of us, it's fall. For others, it's a time of healing. It's a time of cool weather. It's a time of football. But here in my house, it's General Conference season for the Mormons. Hello everyone, my name is Tristine Fleming. Today I am going to be talking about why Mormonism works. This is a new series that I'm starting for those of you who have been wanting more of this topic. It is that time of year for General Conference where the Mormons all get together worldwide and watch what's called General Conference over the weekend. It's a very exciting time for Mormons, and it's also a time of questioning for me. As I sit through General Conference with my husband, I have a tendency to listen to what's being said, and my ears are continuously perked. And I'm always reflecting on the things that the Mormons are saying and how it reflects me as a Christian, because that's what I try to take out of whatever I'm listening to through this General Conference of Mormons. Now, this is going to be a two-part series, and the reason for that is because as I was listening to General Conference this morning, I wrote down all my thoughts for a blog type of situation, and I really feel like I want to tell this on YouTube as well. I probably will be posting this on my blog, Tristine Denise, but I feel that this was such a great topic for me and my husband today, because during the lunch break, him and I actually had a really great conversation, and it's something that I want to start incorporating into me and my Mormon husband. And I really feel like it's going to be one of those things where him and I are just sitting down and discussing my questions, because I have so many questions about Mormonism and their doctrine and why, the whys of Mormonism. I'm going to go ahead and read this. I feel as Christians, these are crucial times, and this is when we need to start questioning everything around us. And I feel this is a very good piece to help us on that path of refreshing and reawakening and renewal. Fall is this time where we really are letting go of all that heaviness that we've been putting on ourselves that's been weighing us down. I'm going to read what I have in front of me, and then on part 2, I'm really going to break it down and let you know what my husband and I discussed after I read this to him. So today I'm going to be talking about why Mormonism works. Yes, works. Once again, it's General Conference season in our home. As you may or may not know, me and my Mormon husband do not agree on the topic of Mormonism. We both have divisive viewpoints on their doctrine, religious theology, and cult-like following. But let me tell you why this religion works so well, like a fine-tuned piano. Mormonism works because I believe in each and every one of us. We have an innate desire to be good. We want a good life. We want to be good to others. We want our family to be good. We want to show the world goodness. And in that desire of seeking good, we reach out our hands and hearts to God. We know God is our only hope in being and doing real good, authentic good, and genuine, selfless good. We meet God in the center. We reach deep into Him and seek out our good, whatever that may be. Most of us lack good. Most of us reject good. Many of us cannot find good despite how good God is. Why is that? Christianity is becoming a ridiculed joke in our society. And as Christians, we've allowed that to happen. We've let the world dictate to us how we should behave, respond, and worship. The world has seeped so deep into our Christian culture that it's hard to decipher which is which. There is such a fine line between Christian and world viewpoints today that no one can be quite sure what distinguishes either one. I believe Mormonism works because they do not falter in their convictions. The world doesn't dictate to them what they should believe, how they should live that belief, or with whom they should share it with. They stand very strong in their understanding of their God and what He desires for them. They take the Word of God and literally live it. Something many Christians not only don't know how to do, but simply refuse to do based on their fear of what the world may think of them. Many Christians have a deep basis of faith and belief in Jesus. But is that enough anymore? Is that all we are? A mere faith-based people? Or should there be so much more to us in our display of living that faith? Several years ago, I was drawn to Mormonism. Why? Well, let's look at why Mormonism works. What makes them so tantalizing to so many people is their loyalty to the church, to the religious doctrines, and their mandates of how to live in a godless society. I believe many Christians and many non-Christians seek goodness. The world is aching for something that will strongly lead them to the place where God resides. Mormons may not know the God of the Bible that us Christians think we know, but they know God. They know the heart of God. They seek it eagerly with their whole hearts. They refuse the notion of what they should look like, sound like, or be like in the world around them. They are truly separated the way God intended us, His chosen people, to be. 90% of Christians, or so it feels, seem to reject that separation and instead seek man's approval instead of God's. As I wrote this, I was listening to a very strong conviction in their general conference about the principles of marriage between a man and a woman and the importance of clinging on to what a man is and what a woman is. They are not afraid to speak on this major conviction that is so clearly defined in the Word of God. The Bible, by God's own mouth, Jesus' sermon on marriage. How many Christian churches today speak that boldly in the church on this topic? How many churches today are declaring the truth of God instead of tickling the ears of sinners? How many Christian leaders are afraid of what that may do to their money-hungry clutches, their riches, their fame, and their own fleshly desires? In the Church of Mormon, there is no fear to speak so boldly. They have no fear of the truth and what the world will think of them. Instead, most people will simply chalk it up to the religion and simply leave it alone. They won't tangle themselves in a debate with Mormons because they know a Mormon will not falter in their convictions. But see, the world can guilt Christians so easily that the Christian will instead feel shame for their convictions and back down from their own inner truth, that they then reject God Himself. The Christian church today is merely a sham. It's a feel-good idea. It's no longer a way of life that we can defend and be proud of. We live our faith in the muck and mire of shame. We hide in that muck and mire to save ourselves from ridicule. And in the process, we let our faith suffer. We let God down. We no longer know who we are or what we believe. The Mormons face no such challenges as these. If the Christian church had half an ounce of dedication to Jesus as they claim they do, they would be living like the Mormons, if not more so. And in doing so, the world would simply leave them alone and back down, knowing we won't. So what works in Mormonism? The family. The family is strong in Mormonism. It is the center of their faith. The home is critical to their success and their faith. It's where it begins and ends. The home should be filled with faith and goodness and encompass the very truths they read about, hear about, and see in others within their church. This is the fabric in their body. It interweaves love, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, charity, generosity, and fullness. The fabric is a cloth so many desire to wear. It is essential to covering their own faults and be clothed in something worth living. It is the main drawing factor to so many families who seek something better in life, not only for them, but for their children. Mormons, however, do not use that to lure people in. It is what they believe and live, so deeply convicted. Why wouldn't anyone be drawn to something so good and pure? The generous spirit. Mormons do not live by rules of red tape and select standards in their generosity. They give freely without question. Without paperwork and proof, they give because Jesus gave. They give wholeheartedly to those in need and never make those who are in need feel badly for it. Christians in need today find very little comfort in the church. If you received money for bills once, you're not allowed again to receive money for anything else within a year or two. You're watched like a hawk in the food pantries to make sure you don't take too much. You're not too extravagant in your choices, and you know your place as a needy being. You're looked down upon. You're subjected to superiority and authority, not kindness and heartfelt compassion. The Mormon Church has a dedicated welfare system that protects their own, takes care of them, looks after them, feeds them, clothes them, provides for them, without the eyes of disdain. I can't tell you how many times as a Christian I've reached out publicly seeking help. Very rarely do the Christians in my clique even acknowledge my need, more or less help me in it. My truest friends help, that's it. No one else. Just those who know me and care for me from the deepest parts of their soul. They listen to God and heed His calling to help, knowing it was what we were created for. However, when we've been in need and no one offered to truly help in ways we needed, it was the Mormon Church that stopped in where Christians feared to tread. They paid our rent, they gave us food, and there's a good chance they'll give us a car and my husband a job. How many Christian churches can give all that without a blink of an eye? None. I'm very vocal about our needs because as a Christian, I know it's what God commands me to do. The Christian community then shuns me for it. They write, "I have no idea what to say when you're so at ease talking about your needs." I'm serious. They are afraid of those in need. Truly, utterly, grossly afraid. They back away instead of leaning forward to listen. They scroll past your needs because it makes them so uncomfortable. They won't like your social posts unless they are lighthearted and frivolous. What are you having for dinner tonight? They won't respond. They won't react. They won't listen. They won't be godly Christians. Mormons think differently about those in need. It is the spirit of the church. The Relief Society and their welfare programs can show us how to be the hand of help, but we won't listen. We don't have time for those in need. We need to be fed those tickling words to make us feel better about ourselves so we can live in our sin without guilt. Christians look away while Mormons look you in the eye. Mormons and Christians may not see eye to eye on doctrine and ideology, but what Christians need to learn from the Mormons is their innate ability to be like Christ in every aspect of their faith. Christians need to learn from the Mormons, or they will continue to see so many of the younger generation slipping away, trying to find something to make them feel connected and needed and wanted. The Church of Christians must absolutely study Mormonism and seek how it works like a well-oiled machine. They have got to look further than the lobbies of their own churches and the needs of their pastor. The pastor is not the Word of God. He's supposed to know it, live it, and preach it to feed us properly. We are the pastor's needs, not his obligation to fund his mortgage and car loans. The Mormons are debt-free. They don't have paid pastors, paid staff, and they never, ever do sermons on tithing with severe shame as their central theme. They don't beg the congregation for money to fund a new lobby, a new audio system, and things of that nature. They don't need to, because tithing is given so freely in the Mormon Church that they literally thrive financially so they can give back to you, not put it in their deep pockets. The money truly pays for new buildings. They don't need a fundraising sermon on it every other week. It's done. It's paid for. See, this is where the Christian church is so much like the world. They beg and banter and use guilt and shame to get your money for things they want. They decide on what is needed rather than living within their own means. If they don't have the money, they will use the pulpit to get it. The Mormons never have to use such merciless tactics. They just have it. They don't squander their money. Their money is blessed by God because they use it to help those in need, not themselves. Money is not an issue in the Mormon Church. Money is never a topic for discussion or a way to sway the church for one thing or another. Money is not a weapon, but instead a tool to build their community. Christians are afraid to give money to those in need because the church relies on them for their financial backing. Christians are strapped in debt for their giving and tithing, where Mormons are blessed and prosper. Ever ask yourself why? Mormons promote and build businesses, produce, families, and health. They built their own community to serve it. And they serve it like the very heart of Christ. Is it any wonder so many people flock to the Church of Mormon? It's alluring and refreshing from all the Christian failures and pitfalls. If the Christian church wants to succeed and prosper, it needs to look no further than the Mormons to gain a sense of Christ-like attributes and characteristics. Mormonism works because it has a heart like Christ and a deep, profound love in every aspect of their lives. Mormonism works because it's about family, community, goodness, and the truth of the gospel. While they differ greatly in doctrine, they also differ greatly in their ability to be more Christ-like than Christians.
Over the hills and far from wide, she's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart covered as a gift and hope that you'll take